Hi there, I'm Gayle Williams of Vision PRM Digital Consulting, and I am so excited to have today with me Kirsten Graham of Six Figure Business Coaching. And I love to talk with Kirsten and pick her brain about how to deal with creating content and specifically video content for my business and for the business of my clients. So, welcome, Kirsten.
Thanks so much. I'm excited to be here. Video and outsourcing are my favorite two topics in the whole world.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And so, why is it that today we are all being required to create video content? What do you think is that magic bullet in there?
So, video really builds know, like, and trust. And so, as a business owner, the next best thing to like being networking in person or having a personal referral is creating video, because it really allows people to get to know your personality. It allows you to add value to their lives, and it really builds that trust. And I know for me, when people find us on YouTube and they book a call with me, they're actually quoting things I said in my videos, which is kind of crazy, right? And I don't know if you know this, Gail, but my first experience with video was back in 2006 when I actually started doing videos for my mortgage company. And that was really when we started to understand the power of video and how important it is. And now so more than ever, because every platform wants video. All the social media platforms, LinkedIn, all of them want video. And people are far more likely to watch a video than they are to read something. Not all people, but the vast majority.
And actually, the search engines will deliver more video than written content sometimes. They'll put that right up front.
And obviously, Google and YouTube both make their money with AdSense, putting ads in front of people. But if the majority of people are going to stay on a video and watch it longer than they will in an article, it gives YouTube and Google opportunities to earn more money, right? More ad spend, so they make more money. So they're also going to do what is going to put money in their pockets.
When I had more of a traditional advertising agency, when we created video, it would get pretty expensive. We'd bring in a good videographer, we'd have a crew, it would be a big production and a budget to match. So how do small businesses afford all this video?
Absolutely. So this little magic tool, it is a phone, it is a computer, it is a great camera that has an awesome microphone in it. So for me, I'm very different than you. I know you're very tech savvy and I'm not. So for me, if I have to set up a fancy camera and I have to worry about hooking up a mic, that is just going to put too much friction between me and the end goal, which is recording a video. So if I can pop my phone into a little tripod and hit record, I'm far more likely to create video content. And most of the time when consumers are looking for something, like they're looking for like, why should I do video marketing, or why should I use video for my business? They're asking the search engine a question. And if they find my video and that video answers that question and gives them the information, they're not looking at my video and thinking, why isn't this like Disney production quality, right? They know that we're business owners and they know that we're just providing value to them. So I think the expectation of really high-end, completely polished content isn't what people are expecting. And in reality, I don't know if it's what they're really looking for, because they want to connect with people that they feel like they could have a conversation with.
That's right. And what about, I'll tell you, this was my biggest hurdle, was I didn't like seeing myself on camera.
Yes.
Really, I'm still not used to it, but I'm
Yes.
okay with it. But how
Yeah.
do you get over that?
So a lot of our clients are women, not all, but a lot. And a lot of them are over 50, like we are. And so I always just say, if you have a heart and a desire to serve, and if creating video content is going to get you in front of those people that need your help, let your heart to serve override your fear of how you look or how you sound. We also don't like the way we sound on video, right? So it is something to overcome.
True.
We worry about the criticism. I love this story. We have a friend who owns a law firm, and this has been almost 15 years ago. She was at a conference and they were talking about video marketing for lawyers. So this is back when we first started doing video, 2006, 7, 8, 9, in that range. And the guy on the front of the stage said, has anyone ever walked into your office and said, oh my God, you're so butt ugly, I can't work with you, and walked out? Right? So if you think about it, nobody really cares what we look like. Like, we're our biggest critics. And most of the time, other people don't really They came to your channel to find information, and if you're providing that information, that's what they care about. So we are our own biggest critics. And if you're good enough to do business with clients in person, then you're fine on video.
That's so true. Oh, that is so funny. Well, here, what about lighting? As I'm looking on the screen, I'm seeing how well lit you are. And I've got this strange shadow because the sun is kind of gone somewhere this afternoon. And I've just got this light here. How do you make sure that your lighting is good?
So for us, we went and bought those big fancy light boxes, and I'm using a lamp. So just like you, Gayle, I normally have lighting coming in from the window that's right here. I literally just have a lamp sitting there. This is a basic lamp with a little white shade on it. So nothing fancy. So I really think you have to play with it because you don't want to have shadows. And I do have another lamp that I like to have on, but it will often put a glare because that's stained glass behind me. So often I'm better just to move this lamp around a little bit. But I would say that is another thing to think about is what's behind you. Because when we're creating videos, we want to have something behind us that isn't distracting to people and that we also kind of stand out against it. And you've got really light hair and I've got light hair. So for me, having that dark purple background allows people to see me. I always joke that if I'm up against a white wall or a really light wall, I look like just like a head with no hair, And so, and I'm not exaggerating. So finding like a color to go behind you that kind of complements you and helps you to stand out. And then just not having a lot of clutter in your background.
Well, and that's where I have a screen behind me. And of course, I blurred my background. And I'm not sure I like that. I will have to be working on an alternative to that, but does it really matter? Again, so maybe I'm not butt ugly, maybe my background is butt ugly, but I'm providing value. Does that count?
That absolutely counts. And I think for most of us, when we start doing videos, you have different backgrounds. So if you look back at a lot of our older videos, sometimes Jeannie's in front of a yellow wall. There was a time when I was sitting on a bed in the guest room. So sometimes you just have to not worry about all the crazy things that can happen and just keep working on your backdrop little by little. We've used paper backdrops. We've used, like, again, painted walls works really well. Anything really works. But again, you'll get to the point where you know what you like more or less. And so I think whatever you have works and you can improve on it over time.
Well, it's interesting. Once you've kind of made peace with the camera that you're using or the background and the sound and the light, once you've made your peace with that, I'll tell you the other big hurdle that I face is although I know my business very well, I then struggle with that. Well, what should the topic be for this video that I'm doing? How can we better organize that or identify the best topics for us? Any ideas there?
Yeah, so we always keep a notebook, and anytime anyone asks a question, that could be a great video topic for you. I think the biggest challenge for all of us is we know our industry and our business really well. And sometimes we forget that our prospects and our potential customers, they don't know the lingo and they don't know sometimes the basics. So it's really important to listen to the questions that people ask you and realize almost all of those can be a video. And again, sometimes we think it's so basic. I know, Gayle, we had you and interviewed you on our podcast about websites. And so for a lot of people, when they're first setting up a website, they really don't know the difference between a domain name and maybe a hosting company. It's overwhelming, right? And I'm not even adding in hosting your email, right? So we have to remember that we have to go to the basics and answer things and make sure that we're breaking it down to the point where the people who are listening to us understand what we're talking about. The other thing I think is fascinating is you can search to find out what are your customers looking for. You can use keywords everywhere. What questions are they asking that you could answer for them? And that's a really great way to have your content come up in search.
And that's really important because then you find out, actually, you could discover what content is out there already and how can you do that better. One thing, I don't know if I learned it from you or I've learned it through osmosis, is you can search for on a topic, find a YouTube video that has very good traction, a lot of traffic, and then watch it carefully and think, how can you deliver this message better? Do you have some additional expertise? And not that you're copying someone, but you take that topic and put your own spin on it and optimize for it.
It does help, and nothing's new, right? Like none of us are coming up with absolutely something that the world has never heard of. So what you're talking about is doing market research. And it's always great to do market research because again, you get to find out those videos that are performing well. How are they delivering the content? Are they making any valid points that maybe you wouldn't have thought to make? Are they making points that you feel like are completely wrong, that you feel like your video could take care of that or clarify that? So you're just looking to figure out how you can bring your voice. And I think that's the other thing is understanding that we each have our own unique voice. We each have stories and things that have happened with us and with our clients that we can share in our videos. And that's going to help us connect with the person who's watching it, but it also makes our content unique to us.
Right. It's having that faith in your own voice and your own authority. It's really important. So
Yes,
there's a trick that I don't know if it's a trick, but there's something that I would often recommend to clients back when we were all talking about content being blog posts only, is going back to those frequently asked questions and coming up with your master list of topics and then creating a content calendar. And it might be that you have similar content in a given week. Like this week, we're going to be talking about search engine optimization, or next week, we'll be talking about lead generation. But somehow creating a structure and a flow that helps particularly when you're putting in provisional titles for each one of those topics. And do you recommend that type of content calendar approach for videos as well?
Yeah, if you're a really structured person, I think that can be helpful. Usually what happens for me personally is I will read something or I'll learn something or someone will have asked a question in one of our coaching sessions or one of my one-on-one clients will have asked something. And because I'm in that moment of answering it for them, I'll often go and quickly outline that video and that would be the next video I would record. So I'm not as much of a structured person when I think about the content. Also, sometimes things are relevant. So when Canva first came out with a lot of their new tools. They just launched a whole bunch of new tools. Yeah, my business partner does video tutorials on how to use Canva. So we quickly got a bunch of those videos produced because they were a hot topic right then. They were relevant in that moment because they were new. So if you have a topic that is really relevant, like let's say Google changed their search engine parameters, that would be a video that you wouldn't want to wait until it comes in your rotation on a calendar. You would want to jump on it. But if having a calendar makes it easier for you, I think that's fantastic. Do you kind of ever talk about like buckets of content or cones of content? I kind of feel like that's the way I would rather go is just having, like, I know I'm going to talk about marketing virtual assistants. I know I'm going to talk about video marketing. I know we're going to talk about email marketing. We're going to talk about digital marketing software. We're going to talk about Canva. So we kind of have these buckets or columns of content that we know we're going to talk about on a regular basis. And then it's just a matter of pulling something from one of those buckets and creating the content.
Yeah. That sounds very helpful. I know that I often talk about those topics and then making sure a calendar has that diversity, kind of the same thing. But I love that buckets or cones.
Content, yeah. The
silos.
Yeah, silos of content, yeah. Because again, we think that you might think, well, how many videos could I create on SEO? Or I might think, well, how many videos could I create about marketing virtual assistants? You will be surprised. Like you don't, because all of these topics have so many layers to them, which gives you the opportunity to go and take each layer at a time and talk about it. And again, we know the stuff inside and out, but our clients don't know that. So for example, one of our videos that did really well is it ethical to hire a marketing virtual assistant overseas? So there's lots of different angles and directions you can take your content in rather than sometimes what we just think of off the top of our heads. And what I tell our clients is I will promise you, you will not run out of content. There's just no way to run out of content. And you'll start to get more creative and you'll start to bring topics down even more. You'll start to take topics from a different direction, but you will not run out of topics.
Well, and speaking of that, not running out of topics and content, I love the fact that you have basically a cornucopia of content that comes out of just one video. So could you tell us about those 21, it's like fishes and loaves, but how you can have 21 pieces of content from one video? How do you do that?
Absolutely. So we're really big on creating evergreen content. So something that would be relevant for people to watch, whether they find our video today or 3 years from now. So we want our content to have great value, wonderful information. But once that video is recorded and it's been edited, that video can then be repurposed. So our virtual assistant will set that video up to go out to our email list. And videos get a better open rate in email marketing than basic text messaging. Also, we'll have them break it down to create social media posts. So that might be a teaser video, or it might just be a couple little sections of content from the video. They can create quote cards from things that we've said. They can create just photo posts from it. So there's stories, reels, every type of post you can imagine can be pulled from your one video. So whether that's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Google My Business, YouTube Shorts, all can come from your one long form video. It can also go on your website twice as a vlog and as a blog. And the way that works is the vlog would be a link to the video along with the description of the video. And then the blog would actually be your virtual assistant can take the transcript of the video and put it through chat or Bard and ask it to convert it to a proper blog post using headers and subheaders. So now you actually have 2 more pieces of content for your website as well.
That's just amazing, isn't it? So now, can someone just do all that work themselves? Is it
Sure.
fairly easy to do that? Or you talk about using a VA? Two confessions. I have a VA who does this for me, and it's miraculous. But tell me, Kirsten, how does that work?
Well, I would say, Gayle, for someone like you and Jeannie, you could absolutely do it yourselves because you're both great in Canva. You both have great tech skills. I joke, I couldn't log into our Canva account if someone was holding a gun to my head. Like I can't get into the account because I've never logged into our Canva account. So as a business owner, we always have to ask ourselves, what is the best use of our time? And for most business owners, creating a great piece of content is a really high value task. Actually editing the video, creating social media posts, that's something that's usually a low value task. And that's something you should outsource. So we actually train marketing virtual assistants on this entire structure of taking your video and editing it, repurposing it, and creating great content that'll help your business stand out. It'll help attract your ideal clients. And again, it'll also help you build just that know, like, and trust in your space. The other thing I want to say, Gayle, is there are so many ways to create videos. When you asked earlier about being on camera, so you can actually create videos where you're not on camera. So if you were absolutely really, really shy, you could create videos that have all B-roll, or they could have animation. There's also different types of videos that you can do on camera. So for example, this is kind of a podcast, an interview style video, but you can have a talking head video. That's what most of my videos are, me just talking and sharing and teaching. And that video ends up with a lot of B-roll on it. So it's not just me looking at the camera and chatting. It actually makes it more visually interesting when our virtual assistant puts B-roll in there. But you can also have tutorial videos. My business partner, Jeannie, shares her screen and does tutorials on how to use different software in order to run your business. There's just so many different ways that you can create video content for your business. So we have people who will start off not being on camera. They'll record their voice, and then their virtual assistant does everything from B-roll. And that's fine. It gives them a chance to get comfortable, and then they can eventually move onto camera. So there's just so many ways to create content, and a virtual assistant can do so many things to make that content look 100 times better than what you would ever imagine.
Wow. Yeah. So tell me, how do you get a marketing virtual assistant who can do all of that?
Sure. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can reach out to us at sixfigurebusinesscoaching.com. That's our website. I also have a free gift for you, which is how you can easily create video to explode your business in less than an hour a week. And that's a webinar. So if you'd like to learn more, we'll put a link to that. But yeah, if you're really interested, on the website, there's a link where you can have a chat with me. And Gayle, you can also put that in the description or notes. I'll provide that for you as well. But hiring is a challenge anyway. I don't know if any of you've hired in the US, we've been a hiring manager, but it's even harder when you're hiring overseas. And most of the people that we interview and we put them through a paid internship, they're in the Philippines. So we like to save our customers the weeks or months that it takes to hire the right person. We like to save them the time because we've already trained them And then we also provide the SOPs to manage them. And so that's something we love doing for our clients because they're busy. They want to focus on things that are going to make them money, not hiring and not repurposing content.
And I will say one of the best things I have done for myself and my business is to work with you to be matched to a great virtual assistant. And he works wonders. And I am very grateful to you for that.
Thank you. We just love our virtual assistants, and it's awesome because we get to work with amazing clients like you, and then we get to work with these amazing, talented people overseas that get to do exactly what they love, editing and design. And when we're like matchmakers, when we pair you with someone and it ends up just being this dream relationship where you guys collaborate with each other, you have someone who shares your creative interest and someone who's really committed to helping you. I mean, I just love that. I love both sides of that process. So I'm so glad you and JP are getting along really well.
Thank you so much. And I thank you. Kirsten, thank you for being here with me today. This is a really important but fascinating topic. And I hope if you're listening to this, you will feel encouraged to start creating some videos yourself and talk to Kirsten if you want some help with VA, and call me if you want help with some of the content. I actually do provide some of that video editing for my clients, and I have John Paul work on creating all those pieces of content from a video for clients. So it's possible, it's there. All you need to do is reach out to one of us and we'll take care of you. So thank you so much. Bye, guys.